We can think of the North Saskatchewan River's watershed as an interconnected puzzle of ecosystems. These ecosystems are driven by processes and cycles of water and nutrients, decay and growth, life and death. These cycles are the foundation of the ecosystems we see and form the building blocks of our watershed, shaped by thousands of years of physical and biological processes. Whether we zoom out to a watershed view or into a microscopic view, we realize that the intersection of plants, animals, water, and earth is what makes our watershed function. We begin to understand that a healthy watershed is one where each of these processes are intact at multiple scales.
So watersheds are really complex systems, and they're made up of a whole bunch of different natural components. So forests, wetlands, streams, rivers, lakes, riparian areas. These natural systems are all interconnected and function in a way that support each other. One of the things I think people don't appreciate about the North Saskatchewan River is how diverse it is. So from the headwaters downstream, you move from very different ecosystems, and the river's very diverse, and the geology is different, the types of wildlife you see are very different, and being able to experience that is pretty magical.
Forests make up almost a third of the North Saskatchewan watershed. Stands of spruce and lodgepole pine dominate the headwaters where cooler, wetter conditions prevail. Aspen, balsam poplar, and white birch occupy drier areas typical of the prairie parkland ecoregion. Although forests are mostly found in the upper third of the watershed, they also establish along tributaries and the deep valleys of the river. Forest growth cycles have historically followed wet and dry periods, with wildfire playing an important role. Wildfire is a natural part of forest succession, cycling old growth with new in times of hotter and drier conditions. Forests and their rich soils are considered to be the water towers of the North Saskatchewan River because they hold a lot of water. This water from rain and snow is released slowly into tributaries that feed the river. Natural grasslands are another important ecosystem found in the watershed. Populated by diverse and deep-rooted grasses, most of these ecosystems have been converted to agricultural land over the last 150 years. This land conversion has come at an ecological cost. Even though some diversity has been maintained through wetlands, shelter belts, and homestead trees, the land provides much less ecological value than it did before agricultural development. Within forest and grassland ecosystems, water collects in low-lying areas, creating wetlands and lakes, which makes up about 10% of the watershed. We find many different types of wetlands in the North Saskatchewan watershed. In the forests of the foothills, we see moss-dominated bog wetlands. In parkland areas, we see marsh wetlands with standing or slow-moving water, populated by cattails and reeds. These hotspots of biodiversity provide unique habitats for plant and animal species. Wetlands provide many benefits to the larger watershed. They naturally filter water by trapping sediments and pollutants, improving water quality in the surrounding environment. Acting like sponges, wetlands absorb excess water during heavy rainfall or snowmelt, reducing the risk of floods. During dry periods, they release water slowly, maintaining the flow of nearby rivers and streams and recharging the groundwater. The North Saskatchewan watershed has lost a significant portion of its wetlands over time, with estimates suggesting that up to 70% have been drained or altered over the last century. Destroying these ecosystems has had far-reaching consequences, reducing biodiversity and impairing watershed resilience. Despite new understandings of the value of wetlands, it is estimated that 1 square kilometer of wetland area is lost every year in our watershed. Similar to wetlands, but deeper and more permanent, lakes are important aquatic ecosystems found across the watershed. Lakes have their own sub-watersheds that determine their unique water chemistry and health, often only outletting into the North Saskatchewan River during wet years. Of course, the river itself is its own aquatic ecosystem. On any given day, you could dip in and see 100-year-old lake sturgeon looking for food on the muddy bottom, case-making caddisflies attached to rocks, freshwater shrimp shredding leaves, mayflies flattened to withstand being washed downstream, algae forming on the sunny side of rocks, and water boatmen making mass migrations from wetlands to the river in fall. In the North Saskatchewan River alone, there are up to 30 fish species, many of which travel up connected creeks to spawn.
Here at Hermitage Park in Edmonton, the amount of biodiversity of both the river and the surrounding environment is vastly higher than most people have any idea of. When you get into the details, you realize, oh my goodness, there's a lot going on here in terms of the diversity of life. Among the animals, you've got those that live here all the time. You've got those that move in seasonally. You've got aquatic insects that move from pond to pond or pond to the river and back. I mean, ecology is all about connection. Just acknowledging the hydrological connectedness of the watershed and every potential source of pollutants, toxins, whatever in that watershed is important to pay attention to because it all feeds down into the mainstream here. So be respectful of that connectedness.
Unique ecosystems are found at the connection point between land and water. These are known as riparian areas.
Riparian areas are specialized habitats that we find along the edges of all aquatic ecosystems. So lakes, wetlands, rivers, streams all have riparian areas, and they're transitional habitats between fully aquatic ecosystems and upland habitats. So vegetation is something that we really look at when we're trying to understand the health of a riparian area. So if we have a lot of vegetation, that's usually a good thing. Here in this riparian area, you can see that we have different layers of vegetation. So we have a ground layer that's composed of grasses and flowering plants, but we also have shrub vegetation, so woody vegetation that is, between 1 meter and 3 meters tall. And then we have a tree canopy that's above all of the shrub vegetation. So those different layers of vegetation are really important and tell us about the health of the riparian area. So if we lose one of those layers or one of those layers is absent, that can be an indication of impairment of health.
Many fish and amphibians rely on the calm, shaded waters near riparian zones. These areas are perfect for laying eggs, as they offer hiding spots away from predators, giving juvenile fish, amphibians, and invertebrates a better chance of survival. Riparian areas along the North Saskatchewan River are typically cooler and wetter, supporting forests that provide cover and habitat for animals moving through the area. Knowing the vast, connected ecosystems that interact in our watershed, where do we as humans fit into the puzzle? Whether we acknowledge it or not, we are a part of these systems. Everything is scalable, and that includes ecosystems. For example, your backyard is its own ecosystem and watershed. Underground fungi cycle nutrients. Leaves fall and feed beetles, which return nutrients into the ground, feeding new plant growth, until the cycle is interrupted. Imagine you clear a quarter of this vegetation and plant non-native grass. This area has now lost much of its ability to intercept water, cycle nutrients, and provide habitat. There is a loss of function, and at some point, systems begin to fail. As humans navigating our responsibility to the environment, it's important to understand that the impact we will make is always proportionate to the scale of the disturbance. Ecosystems are limited in their ability to maintain their intended function and recover from disturbances if they are significantly impacted.
So there's been a lot of focus recently on habitat restoration, and that's a really essential component to creating a healthy environment. Alongside conversations about habitat restoration, we really need to start having bigger conversations about habitat protection and conservation. We know that restored habitats either never come to the full function of a natural system, or if they do come up to the full function of a natural system, it takes a really long time for that to happen. And it's also really expensive for us to do that. And so we need to have bigger conversations around the idea of protecting rather than restoring. They're both really important, but we need more mechanisms to incentivize conservation of habitat before we lose it.
Today, our determination to manage watershed health for multiple outcomes, water quality, aquatic ecosystems, biodiversity, and human use, is higher than ever. This leads to our greatest challenge. How much disturbance is too much for our watershed to handle? At what point do ecosystems become altered beyond their ability to recover?
I think it's really easy to feel disconnected from nature, and so making an effort to go and visit your local park and learn something about the watershed is a really important first step in being a good steward. And then once you feel more connected to your watershed, you start to really learn and discover the small things that you can do that can have a really big impact. We don't live apart from the watershed. We're a really important piece of the watershed. And so all of the actions we take and all of the decisions we make impact the watershed. And those can be positive impacts or they can be negative impacts. And so really having a clear understanding that everything that we do has an effect is a really important thing for people to think about.